Today I will be talking to you about my focal plant species Vanilla planifolium, which is a part of the Orchidaceae family and is commonly known as vanilla or the vanilla bean plant. The vanilla bean is the only edible fruit from the Orchidaceae family, which is composed of around 700 genera and 20,000 species. Vanilla is generally characterized as a terrestrial epiphytic vine that uses its aerial roots to grow up tree trunks and absorb water and nutrients from particles in the air. The vanilla orchid also has yellow-green flowers that can be self-pollinated or cross-pollinated. These flowers only bloom once and are only open for one day. If the flower is not pollinated, then it will drop off, but if it is, then the flower will develop and mature over 10 months. Vanilla originates from Mexico, where the Totonac people of Veracruz have cultivated and domesticated the orchid pre-Spanish colonization. The vanilla delicacy spread to the Aztec people after they conquered the Totonacan Empire, who in turn offered the black flower to the conquerors. The bean was used to flavor chocolate and was added to drinks served to the nobility and were often used as offerings to the gods, making it a social, cultural, and religious component of the native people. In 1519, when the Spanish invaded, they took with them the vanilla plant, which they brought to Europe, where it was cultivated in botanical gardens. However, the Europeans were never able to produce seeds from the vanilla plants. Centuries later, in 1836, Charles Morin discovered that the Melipona bee was the only pollinator of the flower and was endemic to Central and South America. 5 years later, in 1841, Edmund Albius, a young slave, developed the effective hand-pollinating method that lifts the pollen mass up with a wooden toothpick, pushes the stigma-covering rostelium back, and places the pollen onto the stigma. Even though this method is both labor and time-intensive, it spread around the world and is still used today. After hand pollination was discovered, vanilla was cultivated in almost all tropical regions around the world. Madagascar, Indonesia, Mexico, Tahiti, and the West Indies are the most notable areas of vanilla production. However, the way each region cures the vanilla beans changes the flavor of the fruit, as well as there being 3 types of vanilla varieties used: planifolium, which is the most common and used in all markets and industries; Tahitianus, which is mainly for ice creams; and Pomona, which is used for perfumes. Even though we cultivate and grow a large amount of vanilla, we still rely on synthetic vanilla called vanillin because it is both cheaper and faster to produce. In most cases, people can't tell the difference between vanillin and vanilla unless it is an ice cream. This product was discovered by scientists in the 19th century when they found that combining lignin and eugenol produced the same taste as cultivated vanilla. Today we have refined this process and primarily use byproducts of petrochemicals to produce vanillin. These synthetic flavors make up about 90% of our vanilla consumption, which in part is fueled by the 2017 cyclone that hit Madagascar and destroyed 80 to 90% of all vanilla production sites, fueling the demand for vanillin as the vanilla crops recovered. Both synthetic and natural vanilla play a huge role in our current culture. It is a key ingredient in most baked goods and pastries, is the scent of many lotions and beauty products, and is even beneficial medicinally as an antioxidant, antibacterial, and stress reliever. And even though it is the second most expensive crop, it is used widely around the world.